Hey, it's fall, y'all. You know what that means? Time to winterize your vehicle. I'm going to show you how here on My Younger Life. That crisp air of fall time. The leaves are turning. You can feel that cool air coming in. Pumpkin spice lattes are being served. And it's time to winterize your vehicle. That's right, winterize your vehicle. You have to do those things or you could risk being stranded, having an accident because of poor tires, or your car freezing up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take just a little bit of time and go over this Maxima here, and I'm going to take you through just those simple steps. It won't take you long, and I know you can do it. First thing you're going to do, and what I think is probably the most important, is to check the coolant level in your vehicle. Coolant levels are what keeps the engine from freezing up. It keeps your heater running well, and without it, you would be stranded. How do I know that? Well, guess what? I was once stranded. Had a vehicle one time, we'd put in a new water pump just to test it out, didn't put any antifreeze in, and forgot about it. I didn't really know about it. Somebody else had fixed it for me and froze all of the hoses up, and I was stranded. So this is going to keep that from happening. This is a cheap little product. I think I just paid $4 for this at your local car parts store. There are these little beads, and these are measurements below zero that your coolant will stay fluid and not freeze. And all you have to do is dip this in your coolant level, pull the fluid up, and these will float. And the floats will tell you how good your coolant is. You really only need two to go where they need to go, and that will tell you exactly how cold it can get, and you're safe. So my coolant is underneath this, and I've already removed my little tab. This is my overflow. You do not need to open your radiator to do this. You'll check the levels on the side. I'll show you in a moment what that looks like. I'm going to open this, put this down in, pull some fluid up in there. And you can tell there's a lot of antifreeze. Look how blue that is. And see, my floats are way up here. We're well above 50 below zero. Where I live, I'm in Virginia, we never really get that cold. So this vehicle is good to go. I don't really need to open this up because there's fluid in my overflow. When your car gets hot, it pushes fluid in here, and when it gets cooler and needs more, it pulls it back. This is my overflow. And I know there's a hose there, and it's very hard to see, but right here is a fill line, and it says that is hot. When it's cold, or that's hot, there's more in it when it's hot because it expands. Sorry. When it's cold, it's going to drop down to this line. It's all good. If your engine is hot, never open this with a hot engine, ever. It will spew all over you, and it will burn you. This is my washer fluid reservoir. It's right here. It's off to the side of my coolant. It's kind of confusing. Be very, very, very careful that you don't get these two mixed up. If you look on top here, that's what your washer fluid indicator looks like. That's where the fluid is, not here. This is just a basic, it's way over there, and you can look down in there and see that I have plenty. Make sure that you use only washer fluid that's resistant to freezing temperatures. It'll say so on there. Rain-X is a good brand. You do not want to use any washer fluid that does not do that. Most all of it does. Consider your climate. If you're in an extremely cold area, that's extremely important. Never put water in here. Water will freeze and you'll bust your plastic. It's just a plastic reservoir that holds your fluid. It will bust that. It can even tear up the lines that go from there to where it comes out at, and it can also mess up the pump that drives that force. All right, with that is also windshield wipers. Best way to know if your windshield wiper's bad, or just drive them and run them. You'll know immediately the next time there's rain. You can look at the blades, look for any cracks, any tears, any separations. Mine are really good. If you're in extreme cold climates, they even make windshield wipers that are a little more resistant when you have ice, snow on here. I recommend not to use your windshield wipers to remove snow and ice. That really tears up the blade. Scrape it first, allow your car to warm up. It'll be a lot easier and a lot cheaper in the long run. Next are your lights. These headlights are not good. You can see they're a little fogged. I'm going to do a video on how to remove that fog. It's very difficult, and I really have not found anything yet that has been permanent in how to fix these other than replacing the headlight. These headlights here are about $90 a piece, so I really don't want to do that if I can help it. You want to make sure all of your headlights, tail lights, signal lights, everything works, all your reflectors are there. It is a lot harder to see in the wintertime with all the weather and everything that's going on, so you really want to make sure that these things are working very well. I'll get a good look at how fogged over they are. That's just not what you want. It's called oxidation. It just happens over time. Next on our list is tires. You want to have great tread. Tread is so important. Traction is the best thing for preventing accidents. And I'm going to show you my tread using a quarter. If you'll stick George Washington down in there, oh my, looks like we're heading for tires. We need to get some tires before the winter gets bad. You want it to come up. It is legal, but it's not practical in the wintertime. Also, I don't know if you can see, there is some cracking. These tires are 8 years old. The car only has 20,000 miles on it, but the tires have dry rotted, so these need to be replaced. Next thing we're going to do is check our tire pressure. I have a fancy gauge here. It still only costs about $12, but you can use the little cheap ones that have the little slider. And we're going to check our tire pressure because you don't want your tires to be overinflated or under. Overinflated actually is worse in the wintertime. So we're reading the red on this nice little fancy gauge I just bought. We're going to read the red. This manufacturer, according to the driver's side door panel, and also in the handbook, should have 33 pounds per square inch. It's also written on the tire. So what we're going to do is push that on. And it looks like we are almost at 30. We're at 29. So kind of a tiny bit low. It's doable and it's fine, but you probably don't want to keep running it there. And you can do it more than once if you want. This thing, you just push the button in and it clears it. Oh, that's okay. Make sure you get direct contact straight forward. There you go. So that tells me it's just a little bit low. Running your tires a little low in the wintertime is not such a bad problem, but you really don't want them to get too low. Also check even wear. Make sure your tire doesn't have bald spots or any bumps sticking out. Sometimes they can separate inside. And also the treads will tell you a lot. Where I live, it's not necessary to run snow tires. We run all season tires most of the time. All seasons, smooth ride, and they will work in the rain and the snow. Hey, so there you go. That's all you have to do to winterize your vehicle. Do it before it gets too cold, because you don't want to be out here in the cold freezing doing it. Let me tell you, I don't like the cold at all. So we had 4 things you do: coolant, washer fluid and washers, headlights, and your tires. I also want to encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, check out all things batteries. That's another thing you may want to look into. And check out the one about pre-trip inspection before you go on any long trip or before wintertime gets here, so you're not surprised. You guys be safe. Winter's coming, y'all. Get that coat out.